You're staring at the notification on your screen. FSD 14.3.2 is ready to install, and your finger is hovering over the button. You're wondering if this is the update that finally smooths out your commute, or the one that breaks what's already working. Right now, this specific release is splitting the Tesla community right down the middle. On one hand, drivers are thrilled with how the new Actually Smart Summon handles complex parking lots. On the other, they are incredibly frustrated by bizarre routing bugs that simply weren't happening last week. To help you make the call, we are going to break down exactly what this update fixes, what it breaks, and whether you should hit install or skip it for now. Because if you download this without knowing how it aligns with your specific driving habits, you might turn a relaxing morning drive into a stressful babysitting job. The shift in behavior is a result of a transition in how the software is built. Tesla has moved to a single, unified AI architecture. The goal is efficiency. Instead of juggling separate systems, one continuous end-to-end neural network now powers full self-driving, Summon, and the upcoming robotaxi fleet. To build that unified system, Tesla trained the foundational AI using data gathered from robotaxi fleets, navigating the dense urban highways of Dallas and Houston. But when the car's brain is retrained from the ground up, edge cases that were handled perfectly a month ago often become stumbling blocks again. Drivers are dealing with the return of harsh phantom braking at clear crosswalks, and cars abruptly pulling into a stranger's driveway a mile away from the actual destination. Replacing the foundational code like this almost always triggers short-term functional regressions across the fleet. This chart plots the 14.3.2 update's features based on two metrics: how reliable they are and how human-like the driving behavior feels. The first major input is unifying FSD with Actually Smart Summon into that single continuous model. As a result, the car executes confident, fluid parking maneuvers almost instantly, without the old loading delays. But that massive AI retraining came with a cost to standard point-to-point driving logic. Tesla also rebuilt the system's visual encoder to better process complex traffic patterns. On the highway, this translates to lane changes that feel significantly smoother and much closer to a human driver's intuition. Yet on local roads, we're seeing mapping failures so severe that the car will pull into a random driveway a mile early and confidently declare that you are home. By prioritizing a unified neural architecture for the future, the developers have temporarily sacrificed basic route stability in the present. The new model also features a heightened sensitivity for object detection, especially around busy intersections. The system now proactively rewards cautious behavior, mapping out safer paths around pedestrians and cyclists. But this hyper-caution has triggered the return of severe phantom braking, throwing the car into a hard stop at crosswalks that are completely empty. Stopping abruptly for invisible pedestrians creates a very real rear-end collision hazard with the drivers trailing behind you. Tesla also overhauled the tuning for the aggressive Mad Max driving profile. When engaged, the car navigates through heavy, congested traffic with high confidence and assertiveness. The downside is that the steering wheel constantly makes jittery micro-adjustments as the system physically fights to maintain perfect lane centering. The AI's hypersensitivity to safety and lane positioning is currently delivering a ride that is highly anxiety-inducing. To cure these regressions, Tesla tweaked the post-disengagement intervention menu so it sits lower and is far less obtrusive on the screen. Whenever you take over the wheel, the engineering team relies on the selection you make in this menu to gather crowdsourced data and train out the edge cases. They recently added a specific navigation tag to the list, clearly targeting the routing bugs plaguing this release. It does mean you have to deal with an immediate screen prompt right after a stressful takeover. While interacting with the menu can be annoying, providing this specific data is the fastest way for the fleet to self-correct the bugs. When you tally up the changes, FSD 14.3.2 is a textbook case of a technology release taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. This flowchart breaks down your decision path to install the update based strictly on your primary use case. If you are a daily commuter, you are looking for a reliable, stress-free drive from point A to point B, you should hold off on this update. Switch your software preference to standard to avoid the phantom braking and routing stress entirely. On the other hand, you might be a bleeding-edge tester who treats FSD as an active beta project and wants to push the limits of the new Summon system. If that's you and you are ready to manually override the steering jitters, hit install and keep your preferences on advanced. Ultimately, your experience behind the wheel depends on whether the software version you're running matches your personal risk tolerance. If you already hit download and are currently dealing with that erratic steering behavior, there is a mitigation step you can take right now. Go into your vehicle's service menu and run a complete camera recalibration cycle, which community testing shows can smooth out the worst of the jitters. The pursuit of fully autonomous driving requires constant adjustment.